Hello and welcome to another Carleton StarCraft 2 match. This is Carleton versus Concordia, Game 1. This is Alex Lyon. I'm casting off of just my laptop. This is a little bit of a ghetto setup, so bear with me. I'm struggling to get my stream and everything up. We had a whole bunch of issues last week versus Ottawa U, so I'm just going to be casting videos for the next little bit off of replays, so that way you can at least see the games and know a little bit of what's going on. So anyway, this is Game 1 versus Concordia, Metalopolis. This is our extremely highly ranked Masters player, iQQuPewPew. I will bring up, see if I remember how to do this. Bring up the name tag. So there he is, the purple Zerg in the top or in the bottom right. And in the top right, we have orange as the University of Concordia orange Protoss player HQHalf. So I'll bring up the production tab for you. You can see nothing fancy, just drones and probes. I'm gonna apologize first. I'm a little bit sick right now, so I'll try really hard not to just sneeze during the game. That'll be an awesome audio recording for you guys. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. You can see iQQuPewPew is at that 14. He's making his, or yeah, sorry, he's at 14 drones, saving up, should be grabbing a gas. Yeah, he did actually float a lot of minerals before he grabbed that gas. It's an interesting timing. Usually you see players grab it right away. Is he grabbing a second gas? Okay, no, he's throwing down the spawning pool. That's a standard gas pool, 14-14. You can see that HQHalf is going for this Forge First expand. This is interesting. I wonder if there's a little bit of space there. You can throw a pylon or something down. Maybe that's a cannon. I'm not actually sure how you go about doing the Forge First expand on this map. I remember these are the exact spawn positions that I play Zerg, that I first encountered a Forge First, and I went, what are you doing? That's so dumb. I'm just going to run Zerglings, and I just died. So the Forge First is definitely a viable strategy. I have seen it pulled off to great success on this map. Oh, it looks like there's some the probe, or the drone does kill the probe. That's nice. But you can see that HQHalf did throw a pylon down to block Zerg's expansion, which shouldn't be too big of a deal because you can see iQQuPewPew is just building drones and overlords and getting his gas up. Once he gets above 100, that he'll probably throw down Zergling speed, but you can see HQHalf is taking his expansion, so at least temporarily he'll be ahead. If you look at the worker tab, he is ahead on probes, so that's nothing too fancy for the start of the game. iQQuPewPew is throwing down the Roach Horn, so this is actually probably going to be an all-in. So he's probably going to grab Zergling speed soon, or not grab Zergling speed. I wonder if did the orange Protoss player scout that? No, so he hasn't seen that at all. And this is one of the viable options you have if a Protoss tries to go for this first expand, especially on Metalopolis, because this is kind of an awkward and very large area to defend, is you hit it with roaches, you target down the cannon, and you just run in and kill them. So we'll see how this goes for HQHalf. He did, I'm sure he got a look at he did not see that Roach Warren. So he even got the probe up in the main, didn't see the Roach Warren. That's nice building position by iQQuPewPew, where really that probe had a long way to go before he would see it. And here come the roaches. I wonder if he actually saw the roaches in production, because that would also give away what strategy iQQuPewPew is going for. But I'm going to say he didn't, as he's not throwing any sort of emergency cannons down. He's not even chrono boosting his gateway, though he does definitely have the energy saved up to do that. And one of the nice things you can see from iQQuPewPew, he doesn't know there's that second cannon now, but he's got this overlord in position, so he's going to be able to just inch that in, get perfect detect, or see exactly what's going on up here, and he'll should be able to make an educated decision as to what he wants to do. Yeah, and he sacrifices 2 Zerglings, and now he knows exactly what the defensive situation is like for HQHalf, and he can make a decision of what he wants to do. And he wants to grab the gold. So I like this follow-up. He's saying, okay, well, I'm going to put roach pressure on. I've got 7 roaches. That's, yeah, you've seen this coming. You can see 2 more cannons coming in, so he's probably not going to break them now, but he's going to take the gold, and that will allow him to get ahead. It's actually a really nice play. And HQHalf, because right now HQHalf is completely contained back here. He's probably expecting a big attack to come in, and sometimes by just not attacking, you can do that much more damage. And yeah, this is really nice positioning. Good micro on those roaches, so he takes down that cannon, and now he can just pick up. And this is great. Look at the survivability. Pulls the injured roaches to the back. Oh, a little bit of lag there. and he's just going to target the forge down, no upgrades for you, forces a lot of cannons. I mean, every cannon is worth a gateway, right? So you can run in, probably kill the sentry. Yeah, good pull back, minimal losses on the roaches, and he's he can probably pick this gateway off, and realistically, these zealots aren't going to come out and challenge, push him too hard, push the roaches too hard. He may even be able to pick off the nexus. I've done that a couple times as Zerg, and it's just devastating to Protoss. So zealots are coming forward. Good respond, good catch by iQQuPewPew. You can see he does have the cybernetic square finished in his bane. So if he got that gateway before the cybernetic square had gone down, that would have been huge. But you can see HQHalf is throwing down double Stargate, and that's a really good follow-up. I mean, Zerg throws down roaches. It means, like, what does he have for anti-air? Nothing. Well, in this case, he has a queen, and I'll bring up the units tab. Yeah, he has a queen for anti-air, but he is going to grab that evolution chamber because iQQuPewPew is a good player. And yeah, he's just going to pick off this nexus now, and this is really going to put Protoss behind. Like, this is a ton of damage. Oh, nice cannon wall, man. Like, once you get bypast that, I don't really know if this is the best use of roaches. Looks like they're all just going to die getting up that ramp. That was really good by putting the zealots on hold position there. But again, cannons completely immobile. Not going to help defend this. iQQuPewPew knows exactly what's going on. 3 roaches, I think, can one-shot workers. So if this is great position. He's just going to, yeah, good micro on those drones, or on those probes, but this is still going to deal a decent amount of damage. And I mean, these void rays are gonna, this is really shot for shot at this point. The void rays are gonna come out, and we'll see if iQQuPewPew can defend. You see, he is throwing down. Bring the production tab back up. 6 spore crawlers. That should be more than enough to defend. He may lose this expansion because that's not covered, but that's a lot of spore crawlers. And you can see, look at the good positioning here. There's not really anywhere. I mean, maybe from over here the void rays could poke, but that's always the frustrating thing as Zerg, is that you see someone gets air units out and you have no anti-air, and it's like you get, like, I hate defending with spore crawlers because you can't reposition. They just move over and then they take your gas, take your Roche Warren, take your other gas, take this base, they fly around, they poke, and you just die. It can be really frustrating. He's supply block now, so he's not going to be building any units. He does have 3 overlords on the way, so he shouldn't be supply block for long. And HQHalf has no idea that this base is here. He's got to suspect that his Zerg's probably expanded by now, because he should have had more roaches if he hadn't gone for some sort of expo. And you can see iQQuPewPew is just vigilant about trying to get these overlords in to see exactly what's going on, how many void rays are coming. And I actually like the fact that HQHalf is stopped at 2 void rays. Sometimes you'll see Protoss, instead of trying to re-expand out of this position, they build like 8 void rays and try to move in. And in some ways, that's really deadly, because no amount of spore crawlers are going to defend 8 void rays. At least not in the early game. It's just the way the positioning works. You never have all 8 of them firing, and yeah, you can see this queen's going down. The void ray is charging on the Roach Warren. This is deadly. Remember, 1 void ray on its own kills a queen. 2 charge void rays definitely kill a queen. And just didn't say no more roaches for iQQuPewPew. Lair is coming up. Spawning pool's vulnerable, gases are vulnerable. This is exactly that position I was talking about before, that you can just die to. And so now that HQHalf sees this is dealing damage, he's throwing down some more void rays, because he says, hey, I can get in, I can use this. This is an effective way of stopping iQQuPewPew. But he's still mining over here, and HQHalf, and he's got this coming up, or this expansion coming up. HQHalf, I mean, he's got to feel good that he's dealing damage, and he's, hardly taking hull damage on these void rays, but iQQuPewPew is being very smart about this, and he's just delay, because he has the gold base up. And what HQHalf doesn't know is that he's actually the one on the timer, because eventually iQQuPewPew is just going to get a ton of, well, he already has a ton of income. If we look at it, this is 1,800 to 700 minerals a minute. So iQQuPewPew is definitely ahead, and HQHalf doesn't know it. And this is a really dangerous position. You can see the infestation pit and the hydra pit going down, roach speed, attack upgrades, spine crawler. He's building a spine crawler wall. iQQuPewPew is just going to be able to turtle up, and I'm not really sure HQHalf knows how far behind he is. The supplies actually show HQHalf ahead. And that's just a lot. He's probably got a lot of workers. We can take a look at this. Yeah, 41 workers to 50. So Zerg has more workers. Zerg's entire army right now is four Zerglings and 2 queens. And that's really nothing. Oh, it looks like HQHalf did find the gold base. Sorry, I missed that, guys. And he's going to kill it and deny it. So this is good. This really does put the ball back into iQQuPewPew's court. Actually, that explains the supply deficit. And this is actually a bad position for iQQuPewPew. He's invested so much into these static defense. This is the game of static defense. Look at these cannons up here, and he's forcing a ton of spines and spores. It's just, and static defenses they're not useless, but for those of you that play Dota or LoL, you know losing a tower is a lot better than losing a hero most times. Especially like your outer towers, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like, yeah, they're good, but it's way better to have an army than to have a bunch of static defense. This is only good if the enemy actually attacks it, and there's nothing stopping them from just choosing not to attack. You can see HQHalf is grabbing Blink, and is that +1? Yeah, +1. So that's about to finish. He's going to get a decent army coming out pretty soon. And, I mean, these Void Rays have given him just complete map control. iQQuPewPew has been pretty much contained. You can see here's his 4 lanes, just making sure there's no expansions going down. Protoss is stuck on that 2 base, and really for this position he doesn't want any more. But look at these Hydras. Yeah, that's more than enough to deal with the Void Rays. He's probably going to try to bait the Void Rays into a good position and then reveal. No, he doesn't. It would have been ideal if you could have just popped those got the Voids in a position where they couldn't fungal and then killed them all. But right now, iQQuPewPew has an extremely cost-effective or extremely efficient army at dealing with Void Rays. It's going to be very susceptible to Colossus, but it doesn't look like HQHalf is going for that. Actually, he threw down a Templar Archive, so I suspect he could grab Storm. That's pretty good against Hydra. Actually, it's very good against Hydras. If they bunch up, they just all die right away. But I suspect he's going to just go Archon. You can see he's got sort of this Protoss Death Ball minus the Colossus, which is actually sort of the key unit in that Death Ball. But really, since the Infestors have come out and they got that buff, oh, that was a long time ago now, but really since that patch update, you haven't seen the Death Ball as that viable of an option because you just fungal and then everything dies. But this is interesting. The sentries are really going to be able to push the Zerg into a bad position, and he does have a lot of DPS behind that. So, but that said, Hydras decimate just about everything in this composition, and Storm is only halfway done. +2 is going down. Protoss is trying to expand. You got some infested Terrans going down there. These Hydras might just be too much. There's still energy on this infestor. There's the fungal, and second fungal. Yeah, this is just a lot of damage. But you got to remember, these cannons are still here, and you do not want to be attacking into them. I feel like, yeah, HQHalf is going to hold. iQQuPewPew has to fall back at this point, but he's got the gold back up. And one of the things you always want to remember in a Zerg vs Protoss is you want to try to stay ahead in bases. So, okay, HQHalf is grabbing his 3rd. iQQuPewPew probably going to want to grab a 4th. The gold base is worth about 1.5, so he is still ahead in that regard, but not as much as he'd probably like to. And this is a scary force. I mean, +2 is the 2 forge. Yeah, +2 is going to finish really soon. He's got +1 weapon armor coming down, or ground armor coming down. Oh, Queens out of position. Oh, that was close. Queens are deceptively valuable. How many queens does iQQuPewPew have? He has 6 queens out right now. So he's actually going Queen, Infestor, Roach, Hydra. This is really cool. Oh, but he's going to lose them all with no. I think he just feedback to the Queen. That's kind of a cool thing. Feedback on the Infestors. This is a dangerous army, but I think the DPS on these Hydras is just too much. The Roach is tanking. This is ideal. You can see the Stalkers blinking back. Nope. The Protoss with Warp-in reinforcements is going to come in. He's going to push through. What is Zerg doing to counter this? He's doing a little bit of a speedling run by. That's good. That might force Protoss back. Nope. The Zealot catches them, and the Zerglings not being controlled too well. They die, but Protoss is still moving back, and I'm actually not sure about this. Let's look at, if we look at the units tab, Zerg has 5 infest. This is Zerg, okay, Zerg's army. Not a lot of energy, not a lot of Hydras. I mean, I guess Protoss did the damage he wanted. Zerg hasn't taken that base that he probably wanted to, but I can't help but feel like Protoss is floating 1,400 minerals. If he had 14 more Zealots for that engagement, this would have been game. absolutely game. And now that Storm is finishing, these Hydras are going to not be as effective in battle. The creep highway has receded as Protoss pushed down that lane and picked off the tumors with an observer. This is actually looking not very good for Zerg, though interestingly enough, he is ahead on supply. So if we look at the units tab, yeah, you got decent armies building up for each. Let's go back to the production. Lots of roaches and more infestors coming in. So iQQUPewPew is building up to be devastating. These are all going to get fungled. Oh man, that's a lot of damage. You can see some roaches coming around for the flank. This is not the position Protoss wants to engage. This is actually the least optimal position for Protoss, and he just got crushed. So he's warping in some more reinforcements, but he's actually gone backwards in tech. He's stuck on Zealot Stalker, and he wants to be, or he had Zealot Stalker Void Ray Templar before, so he's actually kind of pushed himself back into the Stone Ages. Really, he's still floating like 1,400 minerals, and now Zerg is a bigger army. He doesn't have the Void Rays in the back, and this is a dangerous push. Trying to do a little bit of blink micro. He's going to fall back to these cannons, which are still there. Static defense, you can see, if these had been gateways and he'd warped in more guys, game would have been completely different. But I mean, he needed these at the start, so you can't fault him for that. But Zerg is going to push down. I wonder, does he know if there's that base? No, he doesn't. So iQQUPewPew doesn't know about this. He's got to suspect it, but he is just pushing this this natural like it's the only base that Protoss has, and the reality is it isn't. Actually, he didn't expand for a long time, so I wonder if he actually knew Protoss was on 3 bases. You can see these 2-1 Stalkers versus 2-0 Roach Hydra, so this Protoss actually does have the unit upgrade advantage, but Hydras decimate gateway units, and this is why I was really surprised that he didn't get that Storm out. I mean, he researched it, and he's just not using it, so that could be the demise of Protoss. He's losing a lot of stuff. He did lose that Nexus, which is going to put him way behind in terms of economy. He's losing probes. Probes are going down. Yeah, this is starting to get out of control for Protoss. We look 26 workers killed. This is, yeah, almost nothing in the production tab, because what's the income at? Yeah, 600 to 1,400. He's putting Zerg back ahead. He's got this mining base up. It looks like these drones are going to be transferring. Gold is almost mined out. Yeah, both mains are pretty much mined out. So Protoss is really just down to 1 base. I wonder if he'll even rebuild the Nexus, because this is getting pretty mined down too. Or it looks like he's going for a Hidden Ninja expansion, and that's not a bad call. I mean, Zerg has Hydras, which are not particularly mobile. I don't know how I feel about Protoss moving out. You can see there's almost no hull hit points left on a lot of these units. They're just all shield, and that will die very quickly to fungal growth and a good concave, which Zerg can usually get if they fungal. So Protoss is kind of on the ropes right now. You can see 88 supply at a 137. This is definitely iQQUPewPew's game to lose at this point, or to win, depending on your perspective. HQHalf is going to try to grab this hidden space, but this is just really good mechanics. You can see iQQUPewPew is running around with these links. Oh, he might not see some of this. Oh, you want to play? Oh, yeah, we've got some friends messaging me now. But now he's definitely aware that this base is up and that there's cannons, so he's not going to be able to do that, and he's not going to run up here. This is a really hidden place to take a base, so it's good on HQHalf for hiding that. And he's kind of getting himself back together. Spire going down for Zerg. He's getting Hive, 5 more infestors. I'm going to look at the army compositions. Yeah, you can see you're just getting a lot of infestors, a lot of roaches, a lot of hydras, getting a couple Zerglings. This is sort of that stock Zerg composition. It's one that I aspire to having, but I very rarely actually get. And that's why iQQUPewPew is in Masters and I am in Platinum. So interestingly, HQHalf still not grabbing a Nexus here. I think at some point you would want to, and I'm getting party invites now. Sorry, man, I'm casting. But you can see long distance mining going on. He's just got so many probes, and this base is already saturated. So he's doing what mining he can, trying to get himself back in. iQQUPewPew, what a long name. He's just maxing out, or he's building up this really big, scary death ball. or not even death ball, just Zerg onslaught of units, and he's going to come pouring in and try to shut down this third. And if he does that, that's really one of the last mining bases. This base is up and running, but if he shuts this down, probes are not going to be able to make it to that bottom. Whoopsies, make that the bottom base. And you can see the Zerglings being very mobile. The Roaches are going to come up. We'll see Greater Spire, Adrenal Glands, +3. Everything's finishing for Zerg. He's actually just pushed a couple Roaches up, and so Protoss came in to try to defend. This is an important place to hold. There's the Storm. Oh, look at all the infested Terrans. That's so much damage. That's just going to melt anything. Yeah, he's storming the infested Terrans because that will just evaporate any army, but because he's storming the Terrans, he's not storming the Zerg army. And I actually wonder if those Terrans were really the most effective use of energy. With Blinkstalkers on the map, I can't help but feel something could have been better. But remember, the Zerglings are still... Yeah, here we go. The Zerglings are in the main just killing everything off. So even though HQHalf might hold this location, he's going to lose a lot of probes, and he's losing all the tech in the main. So I would expect GG pretty soon. 50 supply to 129. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do to come back from this position. He's going to lose all of his tech. Broodlords are coming out. iQQuPewPew's taken another base, and I mean, these Zerglings won't kill this army, but iQQuPewPew's next army almost certainly will. 5 Broodlords will kill this army. So, and whatever they're supported with, flyer attack. Yeah, this is actually just game right now. HQHalf doesn't. I mean, he probably knows he's pretty dead, but he knows he still has. He still has this hidden base down here, and that is something going for him. I mean, if he had 2 or 3 hidden bases, he could have just thrown out a ton of gateways, had insane income, and been right back in this game. And iQQuPewPew would be in the dark about it, so you're going, I'm making Broodlords, and he could lose. And it's always sneaky. Like, it's something that Protoss players do. They just expand. You don't know about it, and then it sucks when you lose a game that you thought you had won. But the reality is, even with this base, oh, looks like there was a pause. Girlfriend calling. Okay, go. Yeah. And that realistically, like, from iQQuPewPew's perspective, this game has got to be almost over. Like, it's 140. You've got Broodlord Infestor versus. Let's bring up the units. Sorry. 1 Archon, 2 Templars, 8 Stalkers, and a Zealot. So this is not what you ever want to see as Protoss when you're in shambles like this. He's building those Stargates back up because he needs something to deal with these Broodlords. Realistically, for this many Broodlords, he needs a mothership, and I don't think he's gonna have the time to get one out. He does have a Warp Prism, so he's gonna be able to do some harassment and some sort of backdooring, but he looks pretty dead. Like, the Infestor Corruptors here are going to be able to deal with sort of anything that comes out of these Stargates. He's making Void Rays. Yeah, this is sort of going to be the slow... This game will end as quick as HQHalf wants it to. He's trying to blink under the Broodlords to kill them with Stalkers, but I think there's actually more Broodlords than there are Stalkers, and so that's not going to end well for him. And there's the GG. So Carleton moves up 1-0 in the series against Concordia, and congratulations to iQQuPewPew. Obviously not thrown off his game by his girlfriend's call. We'll see you in round 2.